All right, everybody, football season is officially here, and that means football every Sunday, right? And your team is not always guaranteed to be good. There are a bunch of games you're going to watch. Sometimes you may be in a bye week, but you want to watch some football and you want to make those games exciting. Well, good news. That's where today's video sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook, is here to help. With the football season kicking off, it's the perfect time to dive into the action with my partners at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet on touchdowns. And right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will instantly get $250 in bonus bets, plus get 1 month of NFL plus premium. That's something everybody can celebrate. Stay in on the action and use your $250 in bonus bets to bet anytime touchdowns on DraftKings. DraftKings is the place to bet touchdowns. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot to win cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code SSR and wager just $5 to get $250 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code SSR only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti, and the last video I told you a story about this central dispatch fraud and how the worst industry in the United States is the auto transport industry. Well, this story goes even further, and that's why I said just wait till I tell you the rest of the story. I had to break it up into 2 videos because you had to digest just how bad the industry is, from beginning to potentially getting scammed to even the service. Now, we had the Adventure Drive trip in the Rockies, and I had to ship cars from the West Coast, cars from the East Coast, cars were coming up from Texas. And I had 2 cars coming from the East Coast here. I had the Lamborghini Huracan STO and my 458. We're both going. And it's so difficult to try to plan transporter, right? Especially if you're not just like selling a car and sending it to a dealership or sending it to a person's house. If you're trying to put a car somewhere so it's there waiting for you, you have to sort of time it perfectly in an industry that gives you virtually no guarantees, right? If you cut it too close, your car is going to show up 3 days after your event and you don't have your car. If you send it too early, then you got to find a place to put it. So it's very frustrating to try to time that out. And this story effectively shows you just the stark differences between the week. So we were looking for enclosed transport for the 2 units going from here to Denver. And they did the same thing. We did it about 10 days out to give them like 7 days to get there. It's probably a 3 or 4 day trip. Broker calls, he's going to pick it up, and they're going to pick it up like the next morning or something like that. They send this janky 2-car trailer. And I'm like, all right, well, 2-car trailer, at least the 2 cars are going straight over there. And it's always a hit or miss, right? Because it could be a 2-car trailer that they're going to go drive him to a depot somewhere and wait for another truck to pick him up. I don't like those games, but they do those. They just try to control the inventory. In this situation, guy legitimately picks the cars up and drops them off at the Four Seasons in Denver. I mean, you're talking like 4 or 5 days before we get there. So I'm expecting the flat tire, whatever the usual excuses are, and this guy happens to be Superman and hot shots of things across the country. And even though the trailer was a little sketchy, the guys were very careful about how they did it. They did a great job. That one went smoothly. And if anything, parking 2 cars at the Four Seasons at $70 a night, it actually cost me a couple $100 more to get them there too early. On the flip side, there was a car that was coming, which was like a 1.5, 2 day move from San Francisco over to Denver, Colorado. And this is where it gets interesting, because this is where everything went sideways. This is the move that I was telling you about, where you had the guy call up and try to get me to send money. Eventually it did get dispatched, and it was dispatched on pickup on Wednesday, and then they would drop it off on Friday morning. I was like, all right, whatever, that works. It's still plenty of time. Wednesday, so the broker dispatched it to the truck accepted. A day later, hey, having some issues here. Something broke in the truck. We'll pick it up tomorrow instead. So we keep pushing back the pushback. And I'm like, look, guys, you're really putting me in a tough spot here, because this car has to be there by Saturday. And I told them by Saturday morning. Really, we weren't driving until Sunday, but I told them we needed it by Saturday. Absolutely no problem. Yeah, no problem. So they keep pushing it back. Eventually they come pick it up, and at this point in time, I can't possibly rely on anyone else, because if I try to get another transporter, there's a good chance it won't be there till Sunday, Monday. So these guys at least are under contract to get it out there. So they pick it up. and they tell me it's going to be Saturday morning. Sure enough, Saturday morning comes. I'm out in Colorado at this point in time. I always get out there before everybody else. So I get out there Friday, check, car's still in California. Oh, don't worry, it'll be there Saturday morning. Sure enough, Saturday morning, hey guys, where are you? Oh, it'll be there a couple hours, Saturday afternoon. I'm like, all right. And they just keep pushing stuff back. Fast forward, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, guys, where are you? Oh, we had another issue with the truck. They're fixing it now, fuel pump or whatever it's always an excuse with transport. We're going to get you the car. Don't worry. It'll be there late tonight. We'll get there at like 11 o'clock tonight. But if you want, we'll do it in the morning instead. And I'm like, I'd prefer tonight, but you know what? Let's do it in the morning because I'm going to be drinking and having dinner with everybody. I'm not going to come off of what I'm doing to come deal with this transport thing. They would have never made it there that night because the car was still in California. So they ended up blitzing through the night, and then come 6 in the morning when they said it was like the absolute drop dead. So this is already a day late, remember, because I told them Saturday. I always factor in a buffer that it had to be there by Saturday. This car was ready to ship for 2 weeks. So it's very frustrating that like we ended up in this situation now bound by the truck driver. Guy says he'll be there at 6 in the morning. I'm like, send me your location. I see he was texting me. I see he's got the blue dots and the blue circles or whatever you call the iPhone to iPhone. I'm like, text me your location. He sends me his location. He's 4 hours away. I'm like, dude, it's 6:30 in the morning. We're leaving at 9. Now you're showing me your location. You're at least 4 hours away. So there's no way you're going to be here by 6:30 in the morning, and you're not even going to be here by 10 in the morning. And now this is a tough situation to put me in because I've got my customers here who we arranged the transport for. And granted, like they know I'm not moving the car, but it's a bad look, right? Because we're like, look, we'll get the car out there. Don't worry about it. We're familiar with the industry, but the industry just sucks that much. So I decide, I'm like, you know what? Let me give the customer my Ferrari and I'll drive our camera car, which is a BMW M4. And that was one of those things like, I'll take this, you take that, and then we'll just switch at lunch. The car will be an hour behind us. We were going to Pikes Peak. So I figured, well, it's only an hour and a half south of Denver. The car will get here. I'll leave Tiffany, who's one of the staff on the trip. She runs Florida Street Scene. She's a lovely girl. If you want to follow her, I'll put her information in the description. So if you're in Florida and you like to do things with cars, she's got you covered. But her whole reason for essentially working the trip is she's always wanted to drive Pikes Peak. And now, lucky for her, she was going to be able to drive at least to Pikes Peak or up Pikes Peak. After dropping the car off, I would have given her the BMW, let her go up to Pikes Peak because we don't need the camera car after lunch. Well, forget about the logistical part of it. But I was like, all right, you're going to be like an hour behind, so you just chill here, and when the car gets here, you'll be all right. We go up to Pikes Peak, come down to lunch, car's still not there. I'm like, wait a second, where are they now? Call the guy stopped sharing his location. He shared it for the whole day, and then he stopped sharing the location. I'm like, where is this clown? And when I looked before it cut out, he was like 45 minutes north at like a Taco Bell or some sort of like service center or something like that. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this guy's brutal. Anyway, I start blowing up this guy's phone. Like, you got to call me back. I try to get the broker on the phone. Broker doesn't pick up his calls on the weekends, and he doesn't. They're closed on Saturday, Sunday. None of this helps me. And it's not about getting money back or anything like that. It's about getting the damn car here because that's what we're paying for. Sure enough, he responds back eventually, and he's like, oh, yeah, we'll be there in like 45 minutes or something like that. Sorry about that. We got stopped by DOT, whatever. Guy, eventually, I see him on the GPS. He's right outside of the Four Seasons. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's like 3:30, and he's outside of the Four Seasons. Now, like 6 hours later than I was expecting him to be there around 10 in the morning, and whatever, 2.5 days later than he was supposed to be there. Sure enough, I say, Tiffany, I call her up. I'm like, the guy's like right on the corner, walk over to the truck. The truck goes like 10 blocks away. I'm like, look, just get in an Uber, do something. Just go, drag your bags, whatever you have to do. Go stand on the corner where that truck is and wait for him to unload the car. 45 minutes or an hour later, she was able to locate the truck 10 blocks away, and they unloaded the car. And that's when I get a phone call from the guy who owns the truck, not necessarily even the truck driver I'm talking to. Hey, I want to let you know we damaged the car. And I'm like, what do you mean you damaged the car? I'm furious that you're half a day late already to the day late party of not even making anything you saying you're going to be delivering. You've been jerking us around for a week, and now you damage the car. This is a brand new Porsche GTRS Spyder. Like, it's like you can't damage a car that's got 100 miles on it. You just picked it up from the dealership. And I'm like, send me photos. And I call Tiffany, take all the photos you possibly can. This is frustrating. So now I'm telling this guy who happens to be driving my Ferrari, which isn't that bad, but like, hey, it's going to be here in an hour, that, you know what, it's just going to meet us in Vail. And luckily, the way our trip worked out, driving Denver to Vail is only like an hour and a half. So by the time he lost the entire first day on the car, at least it's going to get to Vail, and he's going to have it that night. And then we're going to have to look at the damage. So car pulls in roughly the same time we get there, and we see the damage, and I'm like, oh, okay. They put a sticker over the rear bumper, right? They damaged it, and then they put a sticker on it. And then I start looking, and I'm like, oh, these guys tried to do body work on this thing. So they tried to hide the fact that they damaged a brand new several $100,000 car, and then they put a sticker over the paint where the paint was missing to try to mask. And I'm like, wow, there's a little American flag sticker on the Porsche. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It did help cover it up, but you can't do that. That's probably why they were jerking me around all day, because they were going to a body shop and trying to repair this car on the cheap so that we wouldn't know it was actually damaged. This is a brand new car. I mean, it's so frustrating to be in that situation. So at least we now have the car, and now is where the frustration starts, because the broker, part of the deal is they verify that the truck drivers have insurance. They verified the insurance. Guys like, oh, well, we'll take care of it. We get an estimate. It was $2,700 to repair this car. So it's not even that bad, right? It's repaint on the rear bumper, $2,700. And you fast forward, and it's 2 weeks later, they're not getting back to us. Turns out we're like, if you don't get back to us, we're going to make a claim through your insurance. The broker makes a claim through the insurance company. The insurance company's like, oh, sorry, yeah, we got a problem. Like, they didn't pay their premium. So they don't even have coverage. They were told that they had coverage, or I don't know how this works. I'm listening to a bunch of people that lie for a living. Everybody's got to tell you a story. So we're in a situation where the guy's now got a damaged car, and we're like, oh, we'll go through the broker's insurance. Oh, we don't have insurance. It'll cover that. So nobody's got insurance. So we've now taken a complete risk going through a professional broker and going through a professional trucking company, and nobody's willing to cover this thing. And I'm like, this is not my responsibility. It's not the customer's responsibility. You guys have to deal with this. And effectively, I got lucky because I had another job through the broker, and the broker's like, look, I'm going to send you back the money for the trucks. We didn't pay the truck yet, so he stiffed the truck, gave the money back for the transport. So that was $1,600 of the $2,700 repair. And then because this guy moved with his own truck other cars for me when I was out in California a couple of weeks ago, I was able to be like, look, dude, I owe you $4,000, but you have to make right on this. He's like, oh, I'm in a tough spot. And I'm like, you shouldn't be in a tough spot. You're supposed to be doing the right thing. And in the absence of me owing you money, you wouldn't have done the right thing. He ended up saying, like, look, we'll just deduct it from what you owe me. So they deducted the balance, and then I paid him. But that's like intercompany stuff that I then have to deal with. But that's not how it's supposed to work. It just shows you how sloppy, what a complete mess the transport industry is. Imagine somebody damaging your car and saying, yeah, tough crap. That's the transport industry for you. Anyway, Rob Ferretti, I told you it's the worst industry in the country, and I'm not lying. Thanks for watching. See you next time.